Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks and another random destruction. It's Sunday and I hope you've all had a good weekend so far. I'm in the, what am I in? I'm in the AMX 12T. I've got rid of this now. I've just unlocked the AMX 1375 and I've not been in it yet. I'm not particularly looking forward to it because most of the reports that I've heard on it, yeah, not particularly favourable. Now this is the, well, that's the tier 7. This is the tier 6 French light tank, and I find it doesn't make a bad passive scout. Me personally, and you know, a lot of you might disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I personally feel that it's just a bit slow to be an active scout, and sometimes, yeah, it does feel a bit frustrating to me because it is. I don't know. Its power to weight ratio is not brilliant for a light tank. Especially, I was going to say especially a tier 6, what you tend to find with the light tanks is the power to weight ratios tend to get a bit less the higher up the tiers you go. And some of them, for instance, the WZ132, is it? The tier 8 Chinese light tank is more of a, you know, it can work as a scout, but it is a lot more of a fast attack tank rather than just a scout tank that some of the lower light tanks are. But yeah, it's not a bad tank, the 12T. I quite enjoyed it. It's got a 6-clip auto-loader. I don't have the exact figures to hand at the minute, but I want to say it's about 144, 135, something like that. That's penetration damage, roughly. Armour-wise, well, it's not too bad. Oh, by the way, it's a tier 7 match, and it's Team Destruction, and it's on Live Oaks. And this is about the best matchmaking you'll get in the 12T, as with other light tanks. It gets the 3-tier matchmaking, so tier 7 is about the best you're going to get. I don't think, well, there are rare occasions where you'll get into your own tier in a light tank with scout matchmaking. I've done it a couple of times with a tier 8 one, and I think it's just generally when there's nothing available above that to put you into. 50mm of armour on the front of the hull. It's got a bit of an angle to it. You're not going to bounce loads, maybe from some of the lower tier stuff at a distance. It might do. 20 on the sides, 15 on the back. The turret's 30, 20, 20, front, sides, rear. But yeah, I don't know. I do just feel it's a little bit slow for an active scout personally. But I do kind of like the auto-loader gameplay, but I have to be in the mood for it. With some of these tanks, I don't know what it is. It's a very different style of gameplay because you have to account for, well, your long reloading between magazines. If you want to call that clip, whichever you'd prefer. But yeah, you do have to account for that long reload, and some of these French ones is a bit longer. I've got the T69, as some of you will have seen, or you know, I don't go in it overly often, to be honest. I do like it. I'm nearly out of that now, actually, for the T54E1. I've actually put the crew in my T34 Black at the minute, and I'm training them up to overtrain them so I don't have to pay gold to get them in fully trained. Now, there's a Hellcat there. He's not seen me, and that first one went a bit high. And this is kind of how I like to play the 12T, kind of like a support tank, and then in the second half of the match, move in. You go for the you know, the lonely wounded tanks. If you can sneak up on them, you can circle them. That's not a problem. The manoeuvrability and you know, power to weight ratio are fine for that. But you do have to sneak up on them. You know, you can't zip across a bit of open ground zigzagging like you could in some of the other ones. I mean, it's not advisable to do that anyway, but you know, there's some that you could get away with it. And this isn't too bad, but I got spotted. So the element of surprise is gone for me there. But I'm fairly small, so that bump in the ground was enough to hide me. Oh, the first one went into his tracks. Yeah. Did I take a hit then? I was expecting to, but I think he missed. And now I'm going to try and come slightly wider, and fingers crossed out of their view range, but I still might be able to put fire in. I've got the side of the Tiger. A little bit slow on the aiming. I've got I think I've got vents and a gun lane drive on this. Can't put a gun rammer on like most auto-loaders. Yeah, the aim time is a little bit slow, and I think that one of the main problems with the 1375, or it seems to be the one that people agree on, is that it uses the very same gun as this. You don't get any upgrade to the gun, and I don't know about the engine either. It might be a slightly heavier tank with a bit slower excuse me. Again, maybe a slightly less power to weight ratio, but without having it fully upgraded myself and not being in it, I'm not sure. The gun is the same as this though, although be it with I think a slightly increased rate of fire. And now there's just, oh, that was very, very close. There's just arty and a medium left. And I was having to try and duck down into here because of that medium. And arty very narrowly missed. And yeah, I didn't get the kill on the Type 58, but that's it, done. Not a bad little round. Quite fun. I don't think I've had many games in that. I think it was mostly just daily doubles and that sort of thing that's got me out of the 12T. It was one of those. I didn't, you know, I quite liked it. It just wasn't one of my favourites, and I just tended to do a daily double in it, and that was it. It was very rare that I actually went in it more than just for the daily double. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it, but it kind of annoyed me at the same time. It was one of those funny ones. But it wasn't too bad a match, like I say. I'm quite happy with that result, and yeah, like I said, about the best matchmaking you could hope for, so, you know, there was a certain expectation that I should do at least moderately well. Now, I am trying to keep up on comments and catch up. I did catch up a bit, and then I've sort of fallen behind, so I'm slowly catching up again and reading and sort of responding where I can. But yeah, I'm still playing a bit of catch up, but I did notice one the other day, and I do apologise. It was just when it popped up on my phone and I just saw it, and it was one of you asking if I could show a bit more tier 10 in the random destruction, so here you are. I do only have British tier 10s at the minute. I've got the Death Star, the FV215B183, the FV215B itself, the heavy, and of course the Chieftain Mk as well, which I'm in now. Hull armour is, well, leaves a bit to be desired, shall we say. It's got a very good upper plate, it's very, very well sloped, but you're only looking at 80mm of armour. The lower plate, or glacis, the lower glacis is not so much. So yeah, and you've got to be careful, because either side of that lower glacis you've got an ammo rack as well, which is a bit of a, or it can be a bit of a problem, so you really do have to try and hide that as much as possible. Very good gun depression though, 10 degrees I think it is, minus 10 degrees, sorry. And yeah, the turret is very bouncy, 250 on the front as well. But your commander's hatch is a little bit big, and I'd say this plays a very good support role. Terrain resistances, I think, although don't quote me, may leave a little to be desired though. It doesn't feel as manoeuvrable as the 215B. In a way, I don't know. I think that's faster in a straight line, although this might have a slightly better hull traverse. I can't, you know, I really can't remember now off the top of my head, but it's a good gun, good rate of fire. 7.27 rounds a minute, 400 damage, and I can't quite remember the penetration. I want to say about 240 something. I think it's slightly less. I think the 215B is about 259. I think this is in the 240s, I believe, but I could be a little bit wrong with that. But yeah, 400 average damage, and like I say, just over 7 rounds a minute, so very good rate of fire. Fantastic aiming time. I think it's something like 1.5 seconds or something absolutely ridiculous like that, and very good accuracy as well. And we really could have possibly done with somebody staying back around F3 and covering that bit, although that heavy tank in E5, they'd be able to spot anything sort of pushing down F4 and 5. I think they'd spot anything there, so we are pretty safe from that way. And it's just a case of trying to deal with this STI. And I think there's a T10 down here, although he may not have turned up yet. And yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I've only got those 3 British tier 10s. I am working on the others. I'm on the Centurion 7-1, which would be another British tier 10. So I've sort of broken off from that one a little bit, and I'm working on the T10, the Russian tier 9 heavy. I've been working on that a bit. Obviously the WZ-120. Trying to get through that to get to the 121. Is it the tier 10? Oh, I've just taken a hit in the side from a Death Star. That was very, very lucky actually. I think that hit the tracks, and that was just splash damage. That could have been a hell of a lot worse. And yeah, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention to the map at that point, or whether he did manage to sneak round. But he needs dealing with, so hopefully the tank destroyer down here with me, is it a 704? He can hold off that STI in the T10 that's just turned up. I took another hit from the 215B there, but again, very lucky. And I tried to pull back to avoid... Well, it didn't do really much damage, but now I know he's got a long reload, but I really need to get out the way of that gun. I do not want to take another hit, and I know that his turret can't turn all the way around, so I've just got to hope that I'm manoeuvrable enough to stay out of its way until he's dead. And yeah, one more, he's done. Now, that tank destroyer is holding off those 2 heavies. Good lad. He's putting up a good fight on that corner. I'll try and take out this CDC. See what I can do, because somebody was calling in fire on it. That's him done. And now I can turn my attention back to this corner, because that 704 is in dire straits. He's put up a damn good fight on that corner. He's on very, very low health though. And if he can just pull back a bit, I can use the gun depression, hide my hull, and let them bounce off, hopefully, harmlessly off my turret, unless they can get my commander's hatch. Now, lower plate, there we go, straight through. I think he bounced, didn't he? Did he bounce or did he miss? And I'm just going to go straight round after that T10. The STI is dead. And I did take a hit from him. I was a little bit slow on that. I should have zoomed out on the aiming and I think continued round a little bit more. But I'm still alive. And, well, there's just a tank destroyer left. Oh, it's a Waffle Dragon. I don't think I'll get a... Nope, I didn't think I'd get another hit in. And just Arty. And I would say that Arty's going to be over there as well. They normally are. Yep, there he is. Right down on the bottom. Can I get a hit? Oh, just missed. And... is he trying to drown himself? Is he going full scumbag? I think he is. Oh! Oh no! Somebody prevented it. They got him. Scumbaggery denied. Now, not the best match. Not too bad. You know, 4,000 damage, 1,100 blocked. You know, it wasn't too bad, but it definitely wasn't the best match. I've not been in tier 10s for a while. I don't know. I just don't really. I don't know. I prefer lower tiers like tier 8s. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. The Tiger looks like he had a decent game, but that's the thing with the tier 10. It does feel a bit harder to come top if you've got like a tier 8 or a tier 9 in there that has a, you know, a decent game. They're going to get a lot more experience if they're hitting stuff that's higher tier than them. Not always, you know, but sometimes. But yeah, 4,000 damage. I was happy with that. But that was the first time I'd been in a tier 10 probably in about 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know what it is about tier 10. I don't know, I just prefer tier 9 in a way. I don't know what it is. Sort of tier 9, 8, 7, tier 5, I don't know. I don't mind tier 10. I think I'm a bit fed up with the tier 10s that I've got. Just having those ones, you see, they're all, well, the 215 being the Chieftain, they are different, but they're very similar. But yeah, I think I need some new tier 10s to try and pique my interest in that tier a bit more. So, but yeah, it was a good fun match anyway. Now, here we are, I'm in the WZ-120, Chinese tier 9 medium tank. I really do like this tank. It's not got a particularly good rate of fire. I think it's around 5 rounds a minute possibly. But it's got a very big gun. It does, I think, 440 average damage. With quite good penetration, although again I do apologise, I don't have the exact figures with me. But yeah, it's got good penetration, it's got a decent hull and manoeuvrability. It's like a... Well, it is. The stock, basically the stock WZ-121 is more or less the Type 59. So this is kind of like a Type 59 with thicker turret armour and a much bigger gun. I think it's got 220 on the front of the turret, so 200. And I think it's slightly more on the sides as well. And the hull, well, it's the same. It's 100 on the front, 80 on the sides, 45 on the rear. I think the penetration again is in the high 230s, or possibly, I think it's more likely it's in the 240s, if I remember rightly, something like 242, 249, something like that. Although again, don't quote me, I don't have the exact figure to hand. But you don't have to have this gun. This is the top gun on it, but the gun below this has all the other upgrades on it as well, and it's I think it's a 100mm gun, and it's the same as the top gun on the Chinese Tier 8, the 110, and that's 215 penetration, about 320 damage, but it's got a much better rate of fire. I think it's around 7.3 rounds a minute, something like that. So yeah, it's quite a good rate of fire. You know, the penetration is more than workable, and if it's not, then you can always fire the odd premium round. But I just prefer this gun on this tank. I've tried them both, and I just think this one suits it that bit better. Oh, and it's, yeah, Hidden Village Tier 9 match. I'm getting behind myself again. Now, we've come through the village. I took out the T-32. Those other guys have taken out the rest of the opposition down there. Although, we've been spotted, and there is fire coming in from over towards the sort of mountain, maybe, if you want to call it that. Managed to hit that T-54, although I think his tracks took it, and then I've just taken a hit. And that's why I've turned towards these guys to try and give them the thickest armour in the hope to bounce. Although, having said that, they don't seem to be doing a great deal of damage. Now, if that's the Carnarvon that's hitting me, the Carnarvon's got, what, 20 pounder? Yeah, that seems about right, actually, I think. Possibly for 20 pounder, we'll have to see if it takes another hit. I've managed to hit him, though, this time. And again, with the Carnarvon, if you can, as you're looking at the tank, you want to go for the lower glacis right hand side. As you're looking at it, there's a big old ammo rack behind it, and it's the same on the Conqueror as well. And yeah, I think it's the FV201A45, I believe, has got the same ammo rack, although again, could be wrong on that one. But yeah, Carnarvon and Conqueror, as you're looking at the tank, lower glacis right hand side. Now I've moved on from them, or they seem to have moved on a little bit, and I'm trying to get this Bulldog. I am still going to keep an eye on them though. No, the Carnarvon's gone, but there's yeah, when I can when I can speak, there's a Centennial up there, and we've got an Object 704. I'm going to have to be careful. Not too bad from the side, but very trollish armour, lots of angles. And sometimes if you don't aim it properly at it, you'll just hit one of those angles and that's it. And I just missed the Bulldog. He managed to get hit on my side. I was a bit overconfident popping out of there. Not much damage done though. Still got quite a lot of health. But then again, when you're going up against an Object 704, 1000 health isn't a lot. I think there's something like 750 average damage. Bulldog's done. I took another hit, and he took my gunner out as well. That was unfortunate, and that was again my mistake. I think I was a bit too much side on, and I've got to keep an eye out for this Object 704. We are 4 tanks in the lead. Well, they've only got 3 left, but depending on how good those 3 are, this could actually be turned around. So I don't want to take any unnecessary damage. Like I say, 750 average damage, I think it is, from an object 704. I'm on 862 health. He could theoretically one-shot me. So I've got to be... yeah, I've got to be careful. Managed to get through him again. And he's missed the return shot and he's done. So now we've just got the medium and the heavy. And they're down towards our cap. So it's that time of the match where it's a race against our capping and the other tanks to see if you're actually going to get any damage done. Although, it did look like one of the guys popped out the cap to give us that chance. Yeah, he's done it again. And if he goes back in, then he's definitely doing that on purpose. He's giving us a chance to take out these two guys, so good on him. Although the other guy in the cap, he seems pretty intent in, yeah, capping out. Screw you guys, I'm going to cap whether you kill them or not, I think. Although, again, I could be judging too soon, so we'll wait and see what he does. And there's just the heavy left. Where is he? There he is. It's an IS-3 and he's on half health. Now again, can't be too overconfident because he could definitely still put it through the front of my hull. In fact, if he aimed it properly, he could, I don't know about through the front of the turret, but there's the commander's hatches. They are fairly small though. And he's taking another hit, so last little slither of health shaved away by myself. And there you go. That's tonight's episode. 3 little victories. Didn't even realise until just now that, yeah, not very often I get to do that on a random destruction. 3,742 damage done and 1,000 assisted with 5,000 daily double, but I think I did get some, no, 25% extra silver. Oh yeah, I got 1,000 extra, so you could probably take a couple of thousand off that, so just over 3,000 for the daily double, but so not brilliant, but was top of the table, so I am more than happy with that, and I really do like that tank. I really do with that gun, definitely. But there you go, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video, possibly World of Fail to kick off the week. So, as always, take care out there, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.